coup of 1983 was an act of treason, which is still punishable because a criminal offense is punishable at all times. So it is not proper that somebody who has already committed treason before all Nigerians by overthrowing a popularly elected, a democratically elected government is turning around to go and harass Nnamdi Kanu and the Igbo, and is trying to charge them for treason. So you abduct him from Kenya, you want to try him for treason when you committed your own here in Abuja, in Lagos. Do what? Go to the right. That's the simple argument, and I don't see why it should be offensive to anybody. Because the combined effect of the provisions of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights and the African Charter and our Constitution definitely makes it clear that anybody can make an agitation for self-determination, and that there is this blackmail by the generation who fought the Nigeria-Biafran war to always argue that any discussion on self-determination is an invitation to another war. That's not true. Nigerians must learn to resolve their differences peacefully in the conferences like other civilized people do. There is nothing stopping Gowon and Ojukwu from more peace talks than the resort to war. They only resorted to war because they couldn't continue with their discussion. So we must learn to continue to tolerate one another and continue to make our argument. National conferences are certainly cheaper than wars and must be the part of Nigeria's democratic culture moving forward. Therefore, to resort to violence is often an attribute of the party with the weaker case. Stop thinking that because you don't have an argument to continue to tackle the man who is making an argument for secession, then you refer to him as a dot in a circle. 40 million people cannot be a dot in a circle. That is larger than the population of these countries of the world. No matter our pretenses, the peoples of northern and the southern Nigeria are having difficulty coexisting. The challenge in coexistence of our people include, but not limited to, the fact that we are victims of the two Abrahamic religions, Islam and Christianity. Somehow, those two religions have a problem with themselves. Islam, just like Christianity, always have this bogus idea that one day they will overrun each other. That day will not come. There will never be a day when everybody will become a Muslim. There will also never be a day when everybody will become a Christian. All this attitude and arrogance on the part of Christians and Muslims to think they can convert everyone to their sides and start feeling good about it is not possible. It's not a reality. Any day you wake up and you have a situation where each one has overrun the other, what you have is peace of the graveyard. Yes. That is the truth of the matter. And I will advise that we shouldn't continue thinking in that direction. Not that one is making a postulation in the direction that we should not take our religious beliefs very seriously. But the truth is that there must be tolerance of one another. We must live to the extent where we can have a mosque and a door next door, and both of them choose not to be too loud about their preachings, because the Christians are equally as noisy as the Muslims in their early morning prayers. These are your private businesses. Pray in your house. Don't put those large megaphones on top. Nigeria does not belong to only Christians and Muslims alike. But the two have messed up our lives because they have realized that they have become the single biggest instruments for political mobilization. Muslims take advantage, Christians take advantage, and they have abused each other. My own summation, therefore, is that where we find that it is not possible for us to continue to coexist because we are getting our daggers done with one another, we should look at the Malaysia option, where they decided to break their country into two, called Malaysia and Singapore. The Christians part moved to become Singapore. The Muslim part remained and became Malaysia. and the two sides are doing fantastically well as the Asian tigers. In Sudan, they were actually more foolish. They fought for a longer time. But it is still an option. If the Muslims and the Christians cannot coexist, there is nothing wrong in them becoming like Sudan. Southern Sudan for the Christian majority side, or Northern Sudan for the Sudanese. The truth is that where two people cannot coexist, do they have to remain like that forever? No. The answer is no. So let us face it. We are also victims of the same religion that has pulled us into another conflict situation of Arabic and Western civilization. Whether we like it or not, the two are competing for space in Nigeria. The Muslims are holding on strongly to Arabic civilization. The Christians are holding on firmly to Western civilization. Everybody is trying to pull one another and see whether they can have a situation of control and supremacy. That battle will not end. It is still the same battle that started in some of the biblical stories we have left in the past. And we must begin now to find a solution where it is impossible for us to continue to manage these situations. Therefore, a nation can only be built by agreement. In the case of Nigeria, the federating units must reach the agreement. It has become impossible for us to agree on the issue of secularity in the face of the introduction of Sharia by northern Nigerian states. Agitators for the breakup of Nigeria have completely lost faith in Nigeria, and they believe that life in their future countries will be better than life in present Nigeria. Whether it is Biafra, Oduduwa, or Niger Delta Republic as lands of milk and honey, which they believe will happen, is just a state of mind. It is my view, therefore, that northern Nigeria will become far more prosperous and far more developed as an independent nation, instead of us continuing to hang on like we are doing, pretending that we can manage the situation. I thank Dr. Hakim Bello for the example of Igbo people who have built their properties in the north. If you go to Europe, there are Englishmen who live in France, and they prefer to live in France for the rest of their life. There are Spanish people who live in UK, and they prefer to live in UK for the rest of their life. There is nothing stopping the Igbo people who want to remain in the north for the rest of their life. They are continuing. There is nothing stopping the house. But if we continue to pretend that we can manage this, these people are manipulating us effectively, and they have an advantage. They hide under religion to rig your elections. They hide under ethnicity to rig your elections. I agree with the postulation of Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, but it is still at the level of academics. You can't get power from PDP and the APCs. How much money do you have to conduct the election? That's in the dinner. When it was appropriate time for people to vote whether election results will be transmitted electronically, which is one of the guarantees for free and fair election, most of your constituents who were representing you went to urinate. So many went to toilet before they came. It was all over, because they know, they have seen that or assumed that they will be beneficiaries. But just wait until they lose that election. They will now come on this side and start complaining. Sir, if it were possible, I have spent the greater part of my life fighting as a young man for a better Nigeria. I was a Marxist-Leninist student in my university days. But I have gotten now going to 60, and nothing that I see makes me feel that I might not end up like Pandeba and Johnson. Fighting for a better Nigeria. I don't want to spend 70 years of my life fighting for a better Nigeria. I want to see the better Nigeria so that I know what I'm handing over to my children. If it is not possible for us to save Nigeria, then let us break up Nigeria peacefully and without any fight with one another. Please hear me out. Please hear me out. I have a daughter who was 20 last year. She graduated as a lawyer at the age of 20. having listened to me on too many things, she decided to fly into Lagos. Why are you in Lagos? Say, Daddy, don't disturb. We're organizing the NSAS. NSAS? You don't have any experience. He said, we don't need you people's advice. Okay, the dad was an activist. Let's give him a chance. Let's give her a chance. Before you know it, they ended up at Lekki Toll Gate. I called after the Lekki Toll Gate. Daughter, how far? Say, Daddy, we are disappointed with all of you. So finally, sir, because I have seen that I've been called to order, I am surprised to find that Mr. President is talking on reserves. I don't know which legal advisor advises. The Land Use Act is superior to whatever you have had in the past because it's part of the Constitution. Every land in any state now belongs to the governor. Mr. President, you can't give out any. Autumn has a right to decide who gets any land however he wants. And if he says he won't give anyone for ranching, sir, so be it. And there's nothing anybody can do about it. Besides, cattle rearing is a private business. Like vulcanizer, like carpenter, like tailoring, and it must be treated as such. I think, therefore, that we must be very tolerant of each other and we must respect each other's right to disagree, including this right of self-determination. And our leaders must learn to go back and apologize for things they have done in the past that remain offensive to the people. And this is where I'll conclude. Gowon must apologize for the 20 pounds economic strangulation policy of his government against the people of Biafra at the end of the Civil War. Buhari must apologize for the military coup of 31st December 1983. In fact, that coup of 1983 was an act of treason, which is still punishable because a criminal offense is punishable at all times. So it is not proper that somebody who has already committed treason before all Nigerians by overthrowing a popularly elected, a democratically elected government is turning around to go and harass Nnamdi Kanu and the Igbo and is trying to charge them for treason. So you abduct him from Kenya, you want to try him for treason when you committed your own here in Abuja, in Lagos. So the truth is that we must have to deal with this. Babangida must apologize for the cancellation of the June 12 presidential election. Shoneko must stop parading himself as an ex-head of interim national government because a court of competent jurisdiction has declared his government as illegal, null, void, and of no effect since, and the man still attends Council of State meetings. Obasanjo must apologize for bribing members of the National Assembly to the tune of 50 million naira each for them to give him support for third term. Because these people cannot continue to parade as statesmen when they have done very heinous things.